There's still work to do, but we are on the cusp of a historic trade agreement. Indeed, some call it the mother of all deals. One that would create a market of 2 billion people, accounting for almost a quarter of global GDP. And crucially, that would provide a first-mover advantage for Europe with one of the world's fastest-growing and most dynamic continents.
There is still work to do, but Europe says it is close to a historic trade agreement. Some leaders are even calling it the mother of all deals. The proposed agreement would create a shared market of nearly 2 billion people and represent almost a quarter of global GDP. Supporters argue that it would give Europe an early advantage in working with some of the fastest-growing regions in the world. European officials often say they want to build stronger ties with Latin America, the Indo-Pacific, and other major economic regions. The message from Brussels has been clear. Europe wants to stay connected to global growth, and it believes the world is ready to work with Europe. But at the same time, a very different and dramatic story has been circulating online. According to viral claims, 340 million Europeans are about to lose access to X. The posts say that within 48 hours, the platform will completely shut down across the European Union. They also claim that Elon Musk is planning a full digital blackout in response to a dispute over rare earth minerals in Greenland. Let's be clear, these claims are highly dramatic and not supported by verified evidence. However, the story being told online goes like this. The narrative says that Elon Musk, owner of X and CEO of companies like Tesla and SpaceX, demanded access to rare earth mineral extraction rights in Greenland. These minerals, such as neodymium, dysprosium, and terbium, are important for electric vehicles, satellites, and advanced electronics. China currently dominates much of the global rare earth supply, and many Western governments are trying to reduce that dependence. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Denmark is a member of the European Union. According to the online version of events, the U.S. government, led by Donald Trump, supported a strategy to secure rare earth resources from Greenland. In this story, Greenland becomes central to American economic and strategic interests. The claim suggests that Donald Trump held a private meeting with Elon Musk and Danish officials to discuss mineral rights. The idea, according to the narrative, was that American companies would gain extraction access in exchange for security guarantees and economic incentives. When the European Commission, led by Ursula von der Leyen, reportedly refused to approve such a deal without EU oversight, tensions allegedly escalated. The European position, as described in the story, was that Greenland's resources must remain under European control and follow European environmental and regulatory standards. The online script portrays Ursula von der Leyen as believing that European regulatory power would force any company to compromise. After all, the EU has previously fined major technology companies and enforced strict digital rules. But the viral version of events claims that Elon Musk responded differently. In this telling, Musk supposedly warned that if Europe blocked access to resources critical for future technology, Europe would lose access to some of the technologies his companies provide. The story describes a dramatic execute severance message sent to leadership teams at X, Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink. Soon after, the claim says that European users of X received notifications announcing a full shutdown of the platform in the EU. The message allegedly stated that operations would end permanently due to regulatory disagreements. The story then escalates further. It claims that Starlink satellite services across Europe were disrupted and eventually disabled. Rural regions, fishing fleets, and remote communities supposedly lost connectivity overnight. There is no verified public evidence of such a continent-wide shutdown, but in the viral narrative, this is presented as a deliberate move, an example of technological power being used as leverage. According to the script, emergency meetings were held in Brussels. European officials debated sanctions, negotiation strategies, and possible retaliation. Internal disagreements reportedly grew. Some leaders wanted immediate economic countermeasures, while others warned that escalation could cause severe economic damage. The online story continues by describing Elon Musk appearing on Joe Rogan's podcast. In this version, Musk frames the conflict as innovation versus bureaucracy. He argues that securing rare earth resources is essential for sustainable technology, space exploration, and reducing dependence on China. The narrative says millions of viewers supported this framing. Hashtags trended, tech entrepreneurs voiced public backing. The issue became symbolic: regulation versus technological ambition. Meanwhile, Ursula von der Leyen is portrayed as defending rule of law, democratic oversight, and European sovereignty. The contrast, according to the story, becomes one of messaging and public perception. Then, the script brings in Donald Trump again. In the dramatic version of events, he announces heavy tariffs on European imports unless negotiations begin over Greenland's mineral rights. Automobiles, luxury goods, and agricultural products are mentioned as possible targets. Financial markets are described as reacting sharply. European stock indexes fall, the euro weakens, businesses worry about trade disruption. The most extreme claim in the narrative is that major American technology companies, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and Meta, are pressured to choose between American and European markets. This is presented as a historic ultimatum. Again, there is no confirmed evidence that such sweeping coordinated actions have occurred. The scenario reads more like a political thriller than a confirmed geopolitical development. However, the core themes behind the story reflect real global tensions: competition over rare earth minerals, dependence on Chinese supply chains, the growing influence of technology companies, trade conflicts between major economies, and the balance between regulation and innovation. Rare earth resources are strategically important. Governments around the world are working to secure supply chains. The EU and the US both recognize this. Greenland does have mineral potential, and global politics increasingly involve technology infrastructure. But claims of a coordinated digital blackout of Europe, industry-wide tech withdrawal, and immediate economic collapse should be treated carefully unless supported by reliable sources. In today's online world, dramatic narratives spread quickly. Stories that frame events as a battle between powerful personalities gain attention. But real geopolitics is usually slower, more complex, and driven by negotiations behind closed doors. The future of Europe, the United States, Greenland, and global technology infrastructure will likely depend on diplomacy, trade agreements, and long-term strategy, not just sudden 72-hour collapses. When evaluating stories like this, it's important to separate verified facts from speculation. The global balance of power is evolving, but it is shaped by institutions, alliances, economics, and public accountability, not just by individual leaders acting alone. The world is changing. Supply chains are being redesigned. Digital sovereignty is becoming a central issue, and rare earth minerals are part of the conversation. But before accepting dramatic claims about total shutdowns and economic warfare, it is essential to look for confirmed information and multiple credible sources.